I am going to be making a lemon meringue pie. So this is my easier version of a lemon meringue pie, since it does tend to be a more labor intensive pie. This says, I don't know if you see that or not, to thaw for 20 minutes. So I'm going to do that first. I set my oven to 400 degrees, so it's preheating at the moment. We are going to set up our lemon curd while this thaws and we get our oven preheated. All right, we have all of our ingredients measured out now, which is what I'd recommend doing before you start this this recipe. But I have 1 cup of organic cane sugar measured out in this bowl, and we're basically making the lemon curd at this point. So lemon curd is essentially, especially if you are not using eggs, is more of a pudding base than an egg base. It's still going to be very similar in texture, but the way we make it is very much how we go about making a pudding from scratch. So we're doing 1 cup of organic cane sugar. This is organic cornstarch. You can also use arrowroot powder if you prefer. I always make sure to whisk together my cornstarch and my sugar before I go to make pudding to make sure everything is evenly distributed. Okay, and then I'm going to add in 1/8 teaspoon turmeric. This is my little secret hack for food coloring if you don't want to use actual chemical food coloring, because they use lake dyes for those, so some people are sensitive to that. I just use 1/8 teaspoon of ground turmeric. The taste is negligible. You will not taste it in the final product, but it's going to give the lemon curd a little bit more of that egg yolk yellow color, which is what I was used to growing up. I don't know about you, so this just makes it feel more like a traditional lemon curd experience if I was going to give it a word. So we're going to whisk this together. Okay, and I just take a fork, and you could use a whisk, and whisk this all together until it's fairly evenly distributed. All right, and then we are going to move this to a saucepan along with our milk and our lemon juice. And for the milk, this is a very simple, very basic oat milk. I get it from Forager. It is just oats, water, and salt, and that's it. So you can also make your own oat milk, but if you're lazy like me, there is a brand out there that doesn't have any additives or anything different in it other than the base of what it should be. So if you're looking for a very basic oat milk, I would recommend the Forager brand. But yes, we're going to whisk the milk, the lemon juice, which is 1/3 cup of lemons, and then we're going to mix that into our curd base, our pudding base, and that is going to make the lemon curd for us, our vegan version. So instead of using eggs, the thickener is the cornstarch, and that's what's going to give it its nice and silky, creamy base. Okay, now we transferred all that into our saucepan. We're going to turn it to about a 5 on our small burner setting, if you have an oven like this. But yeah, it is basically, we're going to bring this to a low boil. So a low boil means we do not want a lot of explosive bubbles on the surface. We want just very tapering small bubbles on the top. And then that's going to give us the smoothest, silkiest curd. And we're going to be whisking this constantly. This is probably the most labor intensive part of making a lemon meringue, is just the constant whisking to get it the consistency we want. But I have tried letting it simmer on its own without the constant whisking, and then it gets very rubbery and it's not the texture we want at all. So yeah, get out your whisk and get to whisking. All right, and see, we're blind baking that pie crust for about 20 minutes, and then it'll be ready for our lemon curd when we finish whisking that on our stovetop. Okay, do you see how it's starting to thicken up a little bit? Can you see there's like some weight to this now? It's been about 10 minutes or so. This is kind of the crucial step for this. And this is where I think a lot of people go wrong with making curd or any kind of pudding filling. Because see, this is where we're going to need to stop soon within probably 30 more seconds of whisking this. Because if we go much beyond this point, it is going to get rubbery when it sets. Because yes, it still seems very liquidy, but when it sits in the fridge and the pie crust cooling, it is going to solidify quite a bit and become very gelatiny. So that's something to keep in mind. So yeah, we're about 20 seconds. We'll keep going, but see how much body is building up at this point. It's so close. And look how yellow that turmeric makes the curd. You do not need artificial coloring in this to give it a beautiful yellow color. Okay, now this is the point when it's done. Can you see it starting to just dribble just a little bit, but it's starting to stick on the whisk a little bit? That is the point when we need to take it off the heat. And I think that's why it's so important to show this step, because it happens so quickly. And I know that I've made a lot of curds and pudding fillings in the past that have been rubbery because I let it whisk too long and sit on the heat. So that was my issue. Also, something I did want to bring up, see this pie crust? It did not say that it needed to be pierced with a fork. I kind of honestly forgot about that step, but you definitely need to pierce the bottom of this with a fork. If you don't, then it's going to bubble up and create a really uneven pie dough. So make sure you poke the bottom of this with a fork. So I added in my lemon zest. I zested 1 large lemon with a microplane grater, and then I added 1 teaspoon of lemon extract to the curd. And I do that after I whisk it. I find that lemon zest can become bitter if you boil it too long when you're setting up your curd during that phase. So I always add the extract and the lemon zest at the end of making the curd. Then we're going to cover it with plastic wrap and let it set up in the fridge. I'm going to do it overnight, and I'm going to do the meringue topping tomorrow. I tend to think meringue topping works the best if you do it the day of, especially with vegan meringue. Vegan meringue tends to deflate a little bit more quickly than a traditional egg white meringue, so I always make sure to do the meringue the day I'm serving the pie. But you can make the pie up to this step the night before, which saves you a lot of time on the day of serving it. You can use whatever brand works for you, but I find this one works the best for making meringue. It's no salt and has a good texture to the Aquafaba. So we shake this up, give it a good shake, 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 shake. And then we're going to strain the liquid into our stand mixer bowl. I have a little hack for you guys. If you have trouble getting your meringues to get fluffy enough or get enough rise to them, it could be because you might have a little leftover grease or whatever in your stand mixer from baking cookies or whatever. Even if you wash these in the dishwasher sometimes and are very thorough, sometimes there'll be a fine coating of some fat left over from baking whatever cookies or whatever you're baking. So I like to take a paper towel and some white distilled vinegar, and I rub down the inside of my stand mixer bowl to ensure that I don't have any leftover oils. And I will do the same thing with my balloon whisk. This is a foolproof method to get a really high rise on your Aquafaba meringue. Okay, and I have my liquid measuring cup and I have a little hand strainer sitting on top, and we're going to pour 3/4 cup of chickpea liquid, Aquafaba. Perfect. You put the sugar in there and you blend it on high for about 30 seconds. And what that's going to do is just make a really finely grained sugar, which is essentially what caster sugar is. It is used for really fine pastries and meringues, and it doesn't weigh down the meringue as much as just using a regular organic cane sugar. As you can see there, it's nice and frothy, and that was after about 30 seconds in our stand mixer with our balloon whisk. And next we're going to add in our sugar. All right, now all the sugar's added, and we're going to whisk this on medium-high till it forms soft peaks, and I'll come back after that step. Sorry, it's really loud. As you can see here, it's formed soft peaks. So now we're going to add a half a teaspoon of xanthan gum and a half teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, and then we're going to whisk that into the meringue. And I just wanted to show you what it means when I say soft peaks. As you can see here, it's peaked a little bit on the stand mixer itself, and it's holding its form. That is what we mean when we mean soft peaks. And sorry, I'm making a mess, but I just wanted to illustrate what that looks like so you guys know when you are ready to add in the xanthan gum and the vanilla extract. Okay, and now using medium-high speed, we're whisking in the xanthan gum and the vanilla extract, and then it's going to be ready for piping onto our meringue. That's our beautiful lemon meringue pie base, all set after chilling in the fridge overnight. See how it still has that nice gentle wiggle? That is the sign that you have a perfect, beautiful lemon curd. Now we're ready to put our meringue on top. Now you can use a piping bag if you would like, but again, this is for my birthday and I'm feeling really lazy. I am just going to scoop this on top of my pie. I just wanted to show you how beautiful that meringue is and how well it sets up. You would never know that that was just chickpea. You would never know that that's just chickpea bean liquid whisked in with castor sugar and a little xanthan gum and cream of tartar and vanilla extract. It is so easy. Like once you learn the process of making it, it is one of the easiest things and it's not a big deal at all. I'm going to finish putting this on top of my pie, and then I set my oven to the broiler setting. This is the step where you really want to be careful and watch that pie like an eagle eye. You want your eye on the pie. But yeah, it can go from beautifully golden meringue to a burnt mess if you're not watching it. So I stay right by that oven. I even kind of keep the door open and look at it while it's broiling, but whatever works for you. And I just wanted to show you how I actually use a palette knife that I bought specifically for baking because it's that nice, really thin shape. And this is how I get little meringue peaks. I just use the tip of it like this and then I make those beautiful meringue peaks. Okay, I'm showing you what's going on right now. I'm sitting watching that meringue pie like a hawk, and we're waiting for those peaks to turn golden. So I kind of just sit here about 30 seconds and just wait for the magic to happen. But I'll come back when the meringue has turned golden so you can see what it looks like. See, it's starting to turn a little bit golden. I will kind of adjust the pie and move it around as necessary under that burner to make sure everything is evenly golden. And that is our gorgeous, easy to make vegan lemon meringue pie. I hope you guys enjoyed this content. If you like more videos like this, please give me a thumbs up. Please make sure to subscribe. And again, I'm Christy Cutsforth. I'm a vegan home chef. I used to run my own bakery and I know how to make all the vegan goodies and treats and everyday meals that will keep your family fed and satisfied. All right, I'm going to enjoy this with my friend Hannah while we watch Anne of Green Gables tonight. It's going to be the perfect birthday. I cannot wait.